hear a lot of, oh, there's so many more transgender people these days. And having just finally started transition, I'm going to be one of those newbie transition people. 55 years you were female. Seems like it went pretty good. What's the big deal? I've struggled with depression for 50 years of that 55 years. And it was around the age of 5, 6, like 50 years ago, that I started getting the wind of this gender thing, and that there were rules about what I was and wasn't allowed to do, like wear, feel, be, express, about who I was allowed to be. And that the rules were not going to be given to me as a list in any form, not orally, not written down. Nobody was going to sit down and actually tell me the rules. I had to guess them by a process of elimination, by making the mistake, and then presumably being told, this is what you did wrong. However, the actual result was more along the lines of, you suck, we don't want to know you, get the hell away from us, or, hey everybody, let's make this person's feelings really, really hurt. Let's hurt this person as much as the teachers will allow. And the teachers allowed a lot back then. Everything short of drawing blood pretty much was allowed. Kids were brutal. So I did not understand what I was doing wrong. I realized with the long lens of older perspective that one of the problems was that I was not picking a gender properly. I liked dressing up this body. I really did. I'd look in the mirror. Oh, she's so pretty. I'd look down at the things I was wearing and have them around me. I love colors and I love shiny things. I always have. And I always resented for the men that they weren't allowed to have this without getting their asses kicked. A little boy who liked this would get beat up. It wasn't a maybe. There wasn't even a question of when he would get beat up on the way home from school. Everybody knew it. It was a way that some narrow group of people reinforced some narrow range of ideas of who and what a human is allowed to be. We can go a long way back in history, and it generally originates with a religion. When I say that, a religion, I'm thinking of a wealth of fantasy worlds I've read about, in addition to the human history that I know about, that I've read about and been taught in school. It's generally been the Christian and Muslim religions that do this, actually. Those are the only two religions that come to mind where they deliberately tried to force the entire population to fit narrowly defined personalities. There was a certain kind of person it was okay to be, and a certain kind of person it wasn't. And there was just no two ways about it. And the entire population was encouraged to reinforce the stereotype, the status quo. And this has been going on a very long time. In my life, it has been going on since I've got to be around 5 or 6 years old, started school, started being taught my gender roles, started thinking, well, yeah, but it's not natural up in here, it doesn't feel good to do here, therefore you're wrong, that's not what I should be doing, and I got the label of stubborn. Someone would tell me who and how and what to be, and I would know through pure instinct and emotion that what they were asking of me was a personality swap. I knew it. Nobody appreciated the things that I thought were most awesome about me. In fact, it was frowned upon to be my best self. And I used to look at the boys as I was growing up because I felt like a boy. I liked boy things. I didn't want dolls. I wanted little toy cars and trucks. And I didn't get little toy cars and trucks. I got dolls. And I made those dolls do some very adult, masculine things that if anyone had witnessed, I would have been in deep doo-doo over. And or hauled into a psychiatrist sooner. I was hauled into a psychiatrist at the age of 8 because I was miserable depressed. It was coming out with poor schoolwork. It was primarily sourced by being treated badly by everybody around me to some degree, by being dismissed, by being devalued, by being continuously corrected, by being told in every way possible that I was not a likable person and I was not wanted in the environment. It's a very hard thing to relive. So, moving on. I worked on it. I knew I had no choice. It's not like I could become a man. Plus which, I had no idea of the world of solutions that people are finding now for some of the problems that being born in the wrong gender, the wrong sex for your gender can cause. And I am more aware now. I have been enlightened. Thank you, uppercase Chase. You may not be Mr. Perfect, but you were Mr. Useful. And I appreciate it. I was 25 now. If I was 15, I'd be pushing so hard for this. If the way people are now had existed then, I would have been a man now all my adult life. If I could have been a man all my adult life, then all of my preferred trades would have worked for me. I would have had the larger muscle mass. I would not have been accused of causing distraction on the work site by simply existing. Can you understand that? I was fired multiple times for being too attractive to work in the field that interested me. Then when I worked in the field that suited my physical appearance, I was fired multiple times for not being delicate enough, gracious enough, feminine enough. And so I had the wrong personality for the body and the wrong body for my personality. I wanted to work on the construction sites. And I couldn't hide it. There is no way that I was ever going to make a living off of what I looked like. I wasn't that kind of pretty. I was just somehow attractive enough to be discriminated against about it. Everybody kept saying things like, you can't do that, you're too pretty, or you ought to go do this, decorative job, service industry, decoration. They wanted to shove me into decoration, and I didn't have the personality. And for me, decorating what I was given, well, I like pretty things. I always said, if I had been born a man, I would be a transvestite because I love this stuff. So my inner queen is what I brought to bear to cope with my situation. And I did. I had a lot of fun. I suppose I could have lowered my aesthetics, but you see, all of the praise I ever got in life came for looking good. In my head, it was like, well, I've already got a rotten personality. I can't look ugly too.